All right, y'all. As y'all can see, the topic here today is about police shootings, school shootings in America. Uh, I noticed that every time there's an election, there's a major event as far as a police shooting or a school shooting um, that occurs. And in America, we have elections every 2 years. So and it would be on the even year. So, like this would be 2024. So every 2 years, going back, and I can go back as far as the election of Donald Trump, and maybe before that, but I've gone back to the President Trump's term, and I've just gone back every 2 years, and I saw that there was major shootings every 2 years during every election time. And I was wondering, is it that these shootings, school shootings, and police shootings are not happening regularly throughout the year? Is it that they're being publicized only during election times? Or is it that the masses are only being galvanized to do protests and things like that during election time? Right? So let's watch the pattern, and you guys can go back with me. I don't have any displays. It's on live stream. I don't really know how to use this that well, but you guys can go back with me. 2024. This year's election, we have Sonya Masse, young black woman. Um, she was killed in her kitchen after calling the police. She was shot in the face. Um, from what I saw, she posed little to no threat to the officers. Um, the fact that she had a pot with boiling water in her hand seems that it's going to be used as a motivation for this killing. Um, it was clearly an uncalled for and unwarranted shooting, and I would hope that the officers prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law to keep peace in civilization, keep peace in society as we know it. We don't need a race war because of a bad decision by a judge or a jury. Okay, that's 2024. 2022, we had the Uvalde school shooting. And this one was interesting because, again, we're talking about obvious issues here, right? You have a school shooter, disturbed person went to the school to attack the students and the teachers. They began shooting kids and teachers who many died. Officers in this situation stayed outside the classrooms in fear of their own safety and engaging the threat. The problem with this is there's video footage of one of the officers who was trying to get into the classroom and he was physically held back and ordered not to get in there. And this is important because the reason he was trying to get in to one of the classrooms was because one of the teachers that was in that school was his wife who was shot and later did die um, that day. So that was 2022. That was the Uvalde shooting. 2 years before that, 2020, that would be George Floyd and Breonna Taylor. I don't think I have to explain those shootings, but I will. In one case, you have George Floyd, uh, black gentleman down on his luck, encountering an officer, and through their interaction, through whether it be a miscommunication or harassment, it was said that George Floyd may have stolen something from the store. Petty theft. George Floyd was placed on the ground, was handcuffed, a knee, officer placed a knee on his neck. The other officers in the vicinity held him down, um, and basically choked that man to death. Obvious murder right on camera. And again, I want you to notice the clear dysfunction in each of these cases. Absolutely crystal clear, non arguable um, dysfunction in these cases. 2 years before that, it's 2018. 2018, we have the killing of Philando Castile, Alton Sterling, Walter Scott, I believe. 2018, big riots, Black Lives Matter, men being shot in their back, black men being killed left and right by police officers. Blatant, blatant disregard for life. 2016, we have the Parkland shooting. We also have the Texas shooting. These two schools were shot in 2016, also right before the election. So, my question to you is, are these shootings being staged? Are these shootings being done by psycho people? Are these shootings happening regularly, or are they happening every 2 years at election time? It's just a simple question. 2024, we have Sonya Masse. 2022, we have the Uvalde shooting. 2020, George Floyd and Breonna Taylor. 2018, we have uh, Philando Castile, Alton Sterling. And 2016, we have Parkland shooting and Santa Fe shooting. I believe it's Santa Fe. Please forgive me if I was wrong about that. But Texas, definitely a Texas shooting of a school. There's no question that the movement following the shootings all helped the Democratic Party. The question that I have is, because correlation does not equal causation. What does that mean? That means that just because all of these situations benefit the Democratic Party during election time, it doesn't mean that the Democratic Party has something to do with these actions occurring. So let's break it down a little more. Let's look a little deeper. When I look at the image of the officer that worked, that did the Sonya Masse killing, and the blatant way that he killed Sonya Masse, you have to wonder if he was concerned about his career, if he was concerned about how he'd be viewed, if he was concerned about his freedom. Now, there was a time where something like this would happen, and you'd say to yourself, well, there's a blatant disregard for Black life because cops are protected and they will always get away. But since some of these earlier shootings, 2016, 2018, really, definitely by the time George Floyd's um, unfortunate passing, unfortunate murder took place, definitely by then accountability was being, cops were being held accountable. So why would this cop throw his entire career away like this? I mean, prior to George Floyd, a cop killing a black person would guarantee them wealth beyond their means. It would grant them fame, a book deal, talk shows, you know. So the disconnect and the ability to take a life um, recklessly and indiscriminately was not only there and available and protected, but it was also rewarded. That system doesn't seem to exist anymore. That is falling apart, and it's fallen apart for years. The police have felt themselves to be under attack. So why would this officer throw everything away over such a silly thing? I mean, he's been working on the force, I don't know how many years, but I could imagine it's not one or two. And he's come across so many situations. Why throw it all away in this one situation? I had the same question for the George Floyd killing because it was so blatant, so vivid, so clear from beginning to end. There's full footage from beginning to end of the entire situation. And it's black and white, open and shut. And you wonder to yourself, why would an officer with so much to gain? I mean, working as a police officer, it's really not a rewarding job. Not for the work that you do, not for the money that you get, right? The benefit of being a police officer comes in the benefits and the retirement package. It comes in the ability to keep the majority of your pay for the rest of your life. Um, so again, why would these cops throw it all away? It just doesn't make much sense to me. But they did. When you look at these cops, they have a build, they have a stance to them. I didn't go into their histories, I didn't look into it, but there's almost a military feel when it comes to these cops who were involved over the last every 2 years. And in the school shootings, every 2 years. It seems like there's always military weaponry involved. Uh, I may be drawing lines that don't need to be drawn, connecting things that don't need to be connected. I'm open to that. But I'm also um, concerned that if I don't make these connections, that I'm oblivious to something that's going to come. That's something that's right in front of my face. I made a video 2 years ago, a PSI to the police officers, asking them not to kill anybody black because it will be used to sway my people. I'm okay that my people are upset about a black life being taken by the police officers. I have no argument to that. I have no comment about um, black people kill black people more than any. I have no comment about that. I actually feel that the police are not the people. The police are the servants who work for us. We pay their salaries, and we don't do it for them to treat us poorly or to kill us. Right? But I also don't want to be used as a pawn, and I don't want the death of a black person to be used to sway black people back into uh, slavery or back 2 steps backwards or into a negative situation. And I think very much that's what's been happening. I think every 2 years there comes an agenda where they're going to use the attacks on black people or the attacks on schools, attacks on black people and the attacks on schools to guide black people to the voting booth and force them to vote or guilt them into voting in the way that they want them to vote. I feel bad for Sandra Massey. I feel bad for her family. No one deserves what she went through. When you call and you ask for help, and then you're attacked by the person that you called for help, there's a betrayal, a helplessness, and a lost feeling that it's very hard to explain unless you've been in that situation. You know, I can't imagine what she was going through in her home as these big men were in her home, intimidating her in her home when she called for assistance. I can't imagine what was going through her head, knowing that this is America, knowing that there's such a history of police treating black people a certain way. But as a woman in America, especially a black woman, ignorantly sometimes we can feel a little bit more protected. And so I can't imagine what that woman felt like in her home, um, feeling safe once the police arrived, and then the situation escalating, and the cop saying, "I will shoot you in your fucking face." The cop says that to you after you called him for assistance. I can't imagine what she felt like. That being said, I don't want black people to sway in the direction of the people that only highlight this every 2 years during an election time. Black people are getting killed by police officers on a regular basis in this country. Schools are being shot up on a regular basis in this country. But for some reason, every 2 years is the only time it gets publicized, the only time whatever group or organization decides that they want to galvanize the people to move, protest, speak out, shoot videos, and talk about how we won't take it anymore. They galvanize the people to vote for the Democratic Party every 2 years. You don't have to believe me. Just go back through the history and you'll see it. Every 2 years, primary elections and the presidential election. Every 2 years, there is a major shooting in America or a major killing in America of black people or innocent children in school. As terrible as I feel for Sandra Massey, how can I justify now voting for the people who've highlighted her killing to get their vote, to get my vote? No one has spoken about any legislation. Nobody has spoken about any investigation. They just said this was wrong, blah, blah, blah. It's going to be back to normal tomorrow, the day after the election. What is the plan for the people that are speaking up about this? What does the Democratic Party intend to do about these shootings that um, they're so vocal about? Respectfully, Trump hasn't said a word. Now, I know the reason he hasn't said a word is because his voter base is really the police officers and all of those things. But honestly, I'd rather he not say a word if he doesn't have any answers. I'd rather he not say a word if he doesn't care. I'd rather he not say a word if he's not interested in doing anything about it. I'd rather he not say a word. I'd rather he not be out on the campaign trail right now trying to rally up black votes behind the death of this poor black woman. How ingenuine would it be if Donald Trump were out right now trying to rally black votes behind the killing of a black woman by a police officer? How disingenuous would that be, right? That would be a horrible thing, and we would not allow it. So why do we allow the Democratic Party every 2 years to do this to us? How short is our memory that we can't remember that 2 years ago Uvalde school shooting happened? How short is our memory that we can't remember that 2 years before that George Floyd and Breonna Taylor got killed? How short is our memory that we can't remember that 2 years before that Philando Castile and them got killed? We can't remember 2 years before that fucking Santa Fe, Texas and Parkland shooters went down. Why can't we remember these things and that they keep doing it right before the elections? Gun violence, gun violence. Defund the police. Defund the police. These blatant, obvious killings that are happening right in front of everybody's face. Something that nobody can deny. Why are these cops throwing their lives and their careers out the windows behind these obvious, pathetic reasonings for killing people on camera? The cameras are not hidden, they're wearing them. Why are these cops willing to throw their lives away like this? Again, I don't want to bring conspiracy into it. I don't want to say somebody's sending mindless mercenaries in to kill black people during election time to galvanize votes. See, I don't want to say that, even though I just said it. But I do believe that it's strange that these military bound police officers, like, we're not talking about the nerd from school that used to get beat up and now he's a cop busting black dudes' ass because they were the cool kids in school. We talking about these dudes look like former military, big old stocky ox eating motherfuckers. Part of my language. Big old scary, well trained white men throwing away pension, freedom, career, family, wife, kids, throwing it all away over put the pot down. I mean, it almost makes sense. Like he's like a planted inactive cell waiting for somebody to like hit the switch on him and tell him it's time to get activated. I don't know what it is, but I do know that my math is not wrong. All of this can be researched. And it's scary when you think about the fact that every 2 years there's been a major shooting in America that has caused a major rally in America, and it's always been in the election time. So what do we do? What do we say about this? Do we do we vote with the person who's pro police and who absolutely will not hold police accountable? There's no question. As much as I might love Donald Trump and support Donald Trump, he will not, never, ever will he um, attempt any accountability towards police officers, even if it's shown that they're blatantly wrong. He will not comment on it. His voter base is the police, military. He won't make a comment and he won't change any laws and he won't do anything to fix the situation. So, do I vote for that guy or do I vote for the people who are exploiting the situation and creating a situation where it only gets worse? Defunding the police instead of re educating and retraining the police. is not the answer. That makes it worse. Disbanding police stations in terrible neighborhoods is not the answer. It makes the neighborhood worse. So here I'm stuck between a rock and a hard place about a real life situation that really affects me as a black man in America. The status quo is never something that I want to stick with. I don't want to stay um, in a normal situation. I don't want to go back and just be a hamster on a wheel, repeating the same thing every day, Groundhog Day, over and over and over again. But I also don't want to contribute to progressively making the situation worse for me or for my people. I'm not going to go on forever, but I would like to know what people think down in the comment section about the fact that there seems to be a pattern. I want to know if anybody else noticed the pattern. I'd like to know if you noticed the pattern before this video or if this video really pointed it out to you, you know? But is there a pattern that we're noticing? Definitely all the school shootings and the police shootings help out the Democrat Party during election time. There's no question about that. But do you guys feel that they actively participate? Meaning they hire the shooter, they stage the shootings, or anything like that. I'm willing to listen to all point of views. I don't think it's staged. I think it's real. I don't know if the shooter is trained and sent, or if they're just crazy people that get the spotlight put on them because it's election time. They can be people can be getting shot every day, and then when the election comes, they put the news on it when it happens. You know, so I don't know. But anyway, it is good talking to y'all. I'm gonna be back on a regular basis to have these conversations. I know people didn't subscribe to me to hear me have deep ass conversations. I actually started this channel with these types of conversations and it wasn't successful. I made a boxing video and the channel took off. I got a bunch of subscribers. So I know most of you are not subscribed to me because of these kind of talks. Y'all are subscribed to me because of boxing. But my passion is really my people. And my passion is knowledge and interacting with my people, educating my people, and being educated by my people. So this page, this channel is going to go through a little transition. I might talk about boxing from here to there, but for the most part, yeah, we're going to tackle some real topics, some real conversations. I will be on StreamYard all the time when I stream. So if you don't have StreamYard, please download it. The link is always in the comment section, and I'm accepting anybody to come up and have this conversation with me. We can debate, we can go back and forth. Your view does not have to be the same as mine. I ask that we be respectful of each other, but shoot, we black folk, at least I'm black. Sometimes it gets emotional and heated. I would like everyone to know that even if it does get emotional, heated, or even a little disrespectful, it's all love, and I welcome all of these conversations and all of this challenge. So anyway, I bid you all adieu.